So the question was about whether or not we'd follow the story from what we left behind. The funny thing is that although it certainly wasn't identical, a lot of the themes that they brainstormed about the next season of Deep Space Nine kind of lined up a lot with Victory of Life, as far as Kira being Kai and kind of getting the Jem'Hadar aligned with the Bajoran faith, which we kind of do because that's how they, because spoilers, if you haven't played Victor's Life, they find another orb of the prophets, which the Vorta take, and they use that as the orb of peace, and use it and kind of are starting to adopt that faith, and I love that they have Cisco's other son on there, which is something we didn't do, and I feel like, wow, we should have thought of that. But I don't think we could have done that without actually having Cisco without actually having Avery Brooks, which is a tall order.
It is.
We had kind of thrown away around the idea of contacting the creators of What We Left Behind to actually do that story in the future. I don't know if we ever will, and I don't know if
talked to them back and forth, but it's one of those things where like we'll both send a bunch of emails back and forth, and then they'll get really busy with something, and then we'll get really busy with something, and 3 months go by, and one of us goes, "Oh crap, we wanted to do this."
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I can't be a part of that anymore, unfortunately. But and I'm not going to kill off Nog.
No.
So I don't know what we would ever do with that, or just take some of those story ideas in the future. I certainly love to come back to Deep Space Nine stories again in the future.
I mean, the lovely thing about our game, as I say a lot on this stream, is we can do stuff that crosses over Deep Space Nine characters and Discovery characters and Enterprise characters, and any Star Trek we want to play with, we can play with, which is really nice. A bunch of people are saying the dialogue that he recorded for that Kazon was never actually hooked up. It's not actually in game, so we may have to go and look at that.
All right, well, here's someone who can fix that.
Hey, Jesse. Bye, Jesse.
Hello.
We're just talking about the Ferengi character, not the Ferengi, the Kazon character that Aron Eisenberg plays. Apparently, that dialogue has never been hooked up with Aaron's voice.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. So we may have to go do that. Apparently, it's got
came
released
just in time.
I can make a note of that.
Someone, I guess, data mined it, so it's out there, and the internet has heard it. But
interesting. It's the internet has heard it, but we haven't.
Actually put it in the game. Yeah.
Crowdsourcing.
All right. Well, I know. You've got 2 more co-hosts we've got to wait for, so we can chat for a little bit. But just pull up a chair. Sit down.
Yeah.
You can scoot over.
Yeah.
I tend to arrive at weird times like a wizard.
You're never late, nor are you early. You arrive exactly when you mean to. So, Jesse, when did you first meet Aron?
Let's see.
You're a little cut off. Let's get a little closer. We're all close.
Yeah, that's all I can.
Howdy, Al.
Okay.
Well, for me, probably the same time as for you, Al, where we had brought him in as one of our early voice actors, and we were all super, super excited about, like, oh, we're going to start bringing voice elements back into the game and have you actually get to meet and interact with these characters.
So you met him here at Cryptic the first time?
Right.
Okay.
So obviously I had seen him at Star Trek conventions and things like that, but I never had that sort of level of professional interaction with him until getting the opportunity to work on the episodes that we started to put him into. And I was just really overjoyed because when Stowe launched, we had a little bit of voice work in the game, and then there was sort of a long period of time where we didn't get new actors in, and so once we got Chase and Aron and started getting that ball rolling, it was a really exciting time. And Aron was a great way to sort of open that door because he was so enthusiastic and he was really devoted to his characters. And I feel like I think a lot of fans do, that he brought a lot of depth to Nog because he had a real character arc, a real journey. And so that was really something that I was looking forward to when we got the opportunity to have him join us.
Yeah, I think it's one of the things that's really true about that show is they were very good at seeing when they had something good and sort of seizing on that opportunity. So I think they really saw how much Aron was bringing to the table with a character like Nog, who could have been a one-note throwaway character.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay, well, if this is going to be this good, let's bring him in more. Let's give him more stuff to do.
He was in 2 of our best story arcs. He's in the Iconian War story arc and Victory's Life.
Yeah.
So he's in two of our most notable, fan loved, strongest story arcs that we have in the game. And he has one of the best character intro cutscenes where you're arguing with some Ferengi who won't give you what you need, and he walks in with the Grand Nagus staff. And he says, like, kiss the staff or something like that, and use it and makes them basically bend a knee to do what we need to do, which is we need the artifact to get to find the Krenim homeworld or something, the Krenim satellite world, colony world.
I just wanted to read this comment we just got from in our Twitch chat. It says, "Hi all, this is Jessica. I'm the mom of Aron Eisenberg's boys. I just saw this link on Twitter, so I decided to log in. I don't even know how I was able to sign up so quickly. The boys are so grateful for all the amazing compliments they've been receiving over the past few days. I'm not a gamer, and in fact, I used to tease them all for being gaming nerds. It was a huge part of them growing up. So I would like to thank you all for bringing them closer together as gamers. Jessica, thank you so much for coming in. Thank you for taking the time. We really appreciate you being here. I can't imagine what your whole family is going through right now, but all of our love from Star Trek Online to you guys. All of our condolences as well.
That was unexpected.
Yeah.
Thank you, and anything that we can do for the family, anything we can do, we're there. Yeah. So any questions you need, and Melissa has my contact info. So if you need anything, you can go through, let her know, and the boys can let her know.
Please.
And whatever. And we're sorry.
Yeah. I think I hear another person out in the hall, and unfortunately, I do have to run to the hills.
If anyone's out there,
never mind. Nope, never mind. That was somebody else doing some other work.
I'll just keep talking.
You guys
do the chair shuffle.
Yeah. Well, I sent an email to Nick and Jesse and Ryan.
I think Nick is listening, so he's probably on his way up.
Yeah. I'll just do this. Now you're Jesse for right now.
What's happening?
But folks, I thank you for being awesome fans and giving us the opportunity to talk about this stuff. And thank you guys for. I don't really know what else to say.
Just thank everyone for being here, showing up for this, for all the kind messages on Twitter, for all this. It's just been so many. There's some great hashtags out there, and all the people who've donated to the family, and we'll miss them.
Yeah,
just go miss them.
Okay.
He's a good guy.
He was. Here, this is awkward.
All right.
I have Kleenex.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, folks, we're going to let Jesse and Nick and eventually Ryan come in and take over here. Thanks, everybody, and hug the people you love close.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Musical chairs.
Yeah.
I believe, Nick, you are the...
Oh, am I here? Uh-oh.
According to the...
Uh-oh. Well, we're screwed now. Hello. Oh, you can't see that side. Hello. Unfortunately, I was distracted by work, and so I wasn't actually able to pay attention to the stream recently, so I don't know what's been covered and what's not. Hopefully we don't just rehash the same stuff, but I don't know.
Well, folks have been talking about their experiences with how they first met Aron, or memorable moments that we've had working with him on the game, and how he brought the personality and the idea of this character, and what made that special, and how he helped make things special because of his own uniqueness.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't. You would have worked with him more directly. I make rocks and crates, so I certainly interacted with him, at Vegas and around here when he came to visit came to work. a couple of times. But I didn't really know him in the work sense so much. That's all of the VO stuff and that kind of stuff comes from you guys. So or your designers handle that more than artists.
But you did get to see him at some conventions. Join us.
Yeah.
We all need to squeeze in here.
Yeah, certainly met him a number of times at conventions. He was a good dude. He was. I've been thinking about this a lot since Friday, Saturday, whatever that was, and I keep coming back to the idea that he was everything that I wanted a celebrity to be when you meet them. He was super generous with his time. He was very down to earth. He was just happy to talk to you about whatever. He was
very genuine.
He was very genuine, and he was funny, and he was so irreverent about everything. Nothing was taken seriously unless it was actually something serious. I know Mike was showing some of the photos earlier. Like, I took plenty of photos of him on panels and things. And he was very, professional is not the right word for Aaron. He was very dedicated to those panels. He was certainly, paying attention and all of that. But he was also irreverent. He would make jokes the whole time. He would crack up everybody around him.
I mean, you could definitely tell that he had a very special relationship with the cast. Like when you saw him on a panel with them, like he knew exactly how to kind of play with them.
Yeah, he was good at pushing buttons the right amount.
Yeah.
And yeah, don't we have photos someplace? How do we get to those? Oh, we have instructions.
Yeah, I think there was like in the scene you set it to pictures or something like that.
Underneath the fan art window on the stream are all the images of Aaron and Nick.
Oh, here's fan art. Ah, ha, ha. We are learning things. No, maybe. There we go. Fan art. So, for instance, I brought 2 photos from one panel a couple of years ago. I don't remember exactly what year this was. But one of our friends and cohorts, Holly Amos, who worked for CBS at the time, actually hosted our panel and on the main stage. And Aaron joined them on stage. I think it was Ricosa and Sam, and you might have been up there. I can't remember.
Maybe it was early.
And I took a bunch of photos of the panel, but there are 2 photos of Holly laughing they're both at Aaron, being Aaron. I don't know what he said, but I love these photos so much. There's and Holly likes this one too. I know she's posted this one already a couple times because this is everything.
That is the typical reaction to talking to Aaron.
Yeah, and again, like, nothing is serious. It's a panel on the main stage at a giant convention, and he's still cracking jokes and being genuine and being himself. He, for me, behind the camera, he always he had 2 modes. He was either smiling when I would take a picture of him, or he would be mugging for the camera. Mugging, like making faces, for instance.
I thought you meant like he was like trying to steal your money.
No,
or
well,
something.
that too. No, hashtag play Frankie. No, like this.
Only
like
you're Latinum.
Everyone else is paying attention to Jeremy doing his, his walkthrough or whatever, and Aaron is. Like a lot of actors are all very camera aware. Chase certainly knows wherever I am. She has a sixth sense of like beams in on wherever I am, even if I'm in the audience. She knows exactly where I am, and will like look directly at me and pose for a moment.
Well, but whereas Chase is making sure that like she's showing her good side.
Yeah,
Aaron's just hamming it up.
Aaron is doing this.
Yeah.
And there's a number of these. This is where we actually got his voice in the game. So this is Melissa, his wife, off to the side there. Oops, to the left, listening. and I don't know why. You know,
that is a great face.
What do I say? It's Aron. That is my mental image of Aron.
I feel like that's him doing an impression of Gowron.
Maybe
with the eyes.
Yeah, and it's always. Mike was doing a stream with 2 phones. He had one going to Facebook and one going to Twitch, I think, and he was walking around the whole floor. And he was interviewing Aron and pointing these 2 phones at him so that Aron could talk. In fact, I have another photo of that in here someplace. Oh, this must be it. So here they are, just doing their thing, and then when I walk up with the camera, I take that shot, and then immediately Aron turns completely silent, looks straight at me, no smile, no nothing, just, making a face. Interrupts the live stream to do this. Like, this is how important it is to him to, anyway. He's a good dude. And it's, I don't know, it just seems really hard to believe that he's not here.
Yeah. So that last picture you just had of him.
The one on the panel?
Yeah, the one on the panel, because I believe I know what panel that is.
That was the DS9 panel.
Yeah, so...
What was it called?
That
thing that we did, the expansion.
Some stuff.
Listen,
we might have worked on.
It's late.
So that panel will always stay in my mind because even though I wasn't on the panel, I was in the audience for that one. We were showing all the different aspects of what we had done for the expansion, and of course, one of the things we did was this kind of video loop of DS9, and I'm watching it, and there's this one NPC that kind of falls from the ceiling, or from the second floor down to the first floor, and it's not really falling as much as walking in midair. And I'm
walking down invisible stairs.
And I'm like, nobody noticed this, nobody noticed this, nobody noticed this, and like clockwork, Aron points it out. And not only does he point it out, he points it out every time it shows up.
Right, because as soon as he got a reaction, like he plays the audience, right? As soon as he got a reaction from it, that became the new thing.
To the point where I'm like, stop showing everyone! And the thing is, I know he wasn't malicious. There was never a part of me that was like, oh, Aron, what a jerk. It's like, no, he's playful. He really was playful, and he enjoyed, he was the sort of person who, like myself, tends to err on the side of making people laugh.
Yeah. He certainly played another large online video game that I guess shall remain nameless for many, many years. And so I know that he was well aware of what and how video games operate and what to expect from them and all of that.
It's interesting, too, that he had such a knack for that sort of comedic timing, considering that the roles that he played in Star Trek were typically these characters that were much more conflict-driven than your usual Starfleet officer. A lot of Starfleet characters are built to be these idealized people who have fewer conflicts. They're not really involved in these ethical conundrums as much because those are solved problems for the Federation. I took Ethics 201 at the Academy. I already know the answer to that. But Nog was definitely a character who had to grow and face those sorts of challenges. He started out in the show being illiterate. Jake had to teach him to read. And he made it all the way up to becoming a Starfleet officer and eventually a captain. And then in his appearance as one of the Kazon in Voyager, similarly, he's playing a youth who's heavily conflicted because of his responsibilities and what he feels are his duty to his people versus what his captors are telling him. And so Aron had that unique opportunity to bring these characters with internal conflicts to the screen in Star Trek, which is something that we don't get a lot of in Starfleet officers. So that's a very interesting comment, I think, on the depth of characterization that he was able to pursue. That he could be funny, but he could also make you cry. He could make you laugh. He could make you smile. He could make you think.
And there was so much character progression in those 7 seasons for the one character.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of started off as like a buddy comedy with Jake, And by the last season, he had probably one of the most like impactful episodes about PTSD that has happened in the TV show.
You guys saw the video that the documentary posted with the interview?
I haven't yet.
Okay. It's powerful, and it was hard to watch in a lot of ways, but he talks about how not only how important the role was to him, but how much he felt that the writers and the production crew started writing his own personality into Nog, and so they really became one being in a lot of ways. And so even though it may have just kind of started off as the prankster, like all, and that's very much Aron from the start, all the rest of it was a lot of him added to that as well. Yeah. Silence.
Well, yeah. There we go.
I mean, he was also a really great advocate for us. Like, when we started talking about doing like DS9 stuff, I mean, both he and Chase were contacting everyone to let them know that like we are like on the up and up, and we're going to treat them well.
Yeah.
And I feel like without people like Aron and Chase, like that expansion could not have happened.
Yeah.
This picture is really something that you don't see a lot of, like you were saying about accessible and approachable celebrities. The idea that there's this person that you've seen on the screen who's done these amazing things, and they are willing to just take some time to be goofy with the fans and to just hang out with you and be sociable, instead of saying, sorry, I've got another appointment I've got to get to, or having to be really guarded, or you need to talk to my agent.
Yeah, photos are $50 or whatever. Like, yeah, he was not that sort of...
Right. He was not the kind of person who threw up these barriers to the people who wanted to talk to him. And that meant that it was really possible for people to relate to him and to know him as a person, perhaps a lot more than many of the people that we see on television and film.
Do people have any questions for us about?
I'm just reading through some of the chat. Jaleel22 says that the makeup artist loved him because he was really good at keeping his makeup clean, which is impressive. I don't know if you guys have ever been in makeup, but it falls apart, and it's tough to keep. Oh, this is a different computer. Haha, that's why I'm confused. Where's the mouse? And Jesse, that's your wife, Adrian.
Mm-hmm. Wait, what?
Well, I just listen. Not for you, for other people that may not know.
Yeah, for those on the stream.
But she is
in case you don't know too.
And I happen to be her husband.
Maybe you fell asleep during all of that and don't remember. I don't know.
I mean, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
The point being that she's also very goofy and irreverent, and kind of matches his personality in a lot of ways, I think.
They had a really fun interaction one year when she went to STLV and did her own Ferengi makeup and had made her own Ferengi costume. And, of course, Aron would do the Ferengi bit every year. And for some actors, it's sort of like, okay, I'm doing this because I'm contracted to be on stage and have, John Paladin put makeup on me or whatever. But for Aron, he seemed to really dig it. He liked getting back into that character, and he was just only too happy to ham it up and really like, oh my gosh, you did a great job with your makeup and whatnot.
Yeah.
And just so appreciative of people who appreciated him.
And she got a lot of credit for that year because she got her teeth done for that too.
She had the custom teeth. And as I recall, Aron brought in his custom teeth when he did the VO work for us, because he said it didn't sound authentically Ferengi without them.
It's amazing that they still fit after all these years, but he certainly sounded the part when he was doing it.
Oh yeah, no, he did such a great job for us. I really enjoyed working on the Quark's Lucky 7 because all those guys did such an awesome job.
Jalil's mentioning in the stream his role on the movie Colors, which was a movie about inner city gangs from the 80s, where apparently he got his SAG card, so that would be his start as the union actor. And I remember Colors, when it came out, of course, was a movie that garnered a lot of attention because of the subject matter. That's a pretty high bar for someone to be in as an early production in their union career, to be in one of these dramatic pieces of that caliber.
Just FYI. Yeah. I brought along my Ferengi Rules of Acquisition. Sorry, Aaron. Just I didn't mean to shove that in your face. This is my original copy from 1990, 3 or 4 or something, whenever this came out.
Did he sign it?
I had all 3 of the main Ferengis signed at 95. And so Armin signed it up in front. I guess that's probably not coming through too well on the thing, but whatever. And then both Aaron and Max signed on they chose a rule of acquisition to sign on. So this is Aaron's number 48. The bigger the smile, the sharper the knife. And along with it, I don't know, I think I got him to sign this before he had ever done any kind of VO work for us. I think it was the first year that we went to Vegas. And so at that point, it really would have only been Chase and maybe Denise that had done voices for us at that point. And so he was also handing out photos that he took. He was a photographer as well. And so there's this very nice sunset with a tree and a valley, and he signed that too. Just really sweet, down-to-earth dude. Somebody, my friend Heather on Twitter was asking for people's favorite memories of him, and mine is very simple and not a typical celebrity encounter. But I was at the iBar in Vegas with my friend Allison, waiting for another friend of ours to come meet us for dinner or I don't know what. And the iBar was pretty empty. There was nobody there. And both Aaron and Melissa came walking by, and we had met at that point through Star Trek Online. He always remembered my name and knew who I was. And they just sat and chatted with us for, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. It wasn't a long time necessarily, but it was just very sweet and very, not something that a lot of actors will do, and just took his time, and they were off to go do something too, but didn't mind spending a few minutes to chat with people. And yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have a favorite memory?
Well, I think mine was that panel.
Yeah.
I definitely I couldn't help but laugh when I remember him being on the panel and shouting "Play Ferengi" at the audience. His, once again, his dedication just shining through.
And I think
his
that
sense
was
of humor.
That was when he was still dressed up as a Ferengi too, right? He got on stage in full makeup for that one. Where is he? He's dressed as Nog.
Yep, that was it.
Yeah, that was, and people have noted that we put that on the memorial in game for now. I think we're probably going to update that at some point.
Yeah.
Oops, not this one. Just people. Nope. Oh God, everything's terrible. This one. There we go.
Oh wow.
So this is Nog and Jake's spot. Obviously, people have gathered around it. The memorial isn't directly here. I think it's a little bit to the right over here, under one of the windows overlooking the wormhole. And so we put for the people that are named on the actual physical model in game, we always put a quote from the person. And because we were somewhat rushed, we just ran with Play a Ferengi because he was always shouting that at everybody. but we'll come up with something better in the long run.
I mean, Ferengi characters are the best characters.
And people have also mentioned, I mean, that monument is going to have to expand at some point. We will have to continue adding things to it, even though we don't want to. And I will say on the art side of things, for the actual monument in game, the model, that was hastily put together when Leonard Nimoy died in 2015, I think it was. And it's not the greatest. I think we all recognize that, and we would like to update it. So one of these days, when we have a little bit of downtime, I think the plan is to kind of come up with a new idea of how to represent the monument in a way that is a little bit more expandable than the one that is there currently, and something that kind of fits more with multiple environments than that one, which is kind of this very somber marble plinth. I think we can do something, not necessarily techie, but something that fits a little bit more in the Star Trek world on DS9 or Kronos or wherever. So no promises there, but that's kind of the plan at the moment. Someday when we're not rushed due to someone's passing, we'll take some time to update that to make it feel a little bit more appropriate.
In the meantime, of course, Nog is still with us in the game and will continue to be there for all the episodes that we've got. So anytime that you are missing your opportunity to interact with Nog, he'll still be there with his witty entry with the Grand Nagus staff.
Yeah.
That was your episode, I think?
That was great.
No, that was before my time.
That was before you? Wow.
Really?
Okay.
The Grand Nagus stuff?
Yeah.
Because that was during Delta Rising, right?
No.
That was not that long ago.
No, much later.
Or part of the
it was Iconium War.
Yeah, the Iconium War finished just before I started.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's weird, like when you've been on a project for a while, like you just, when people come and go, all kind of blends together.
I joined the company right when the rush of Midnight praise was coming in. So yeah, no, that was before my time.
How about you guys in the listening audience have any favorite memories you'd like to share?
Yeah.
Put those up in the chat and we'll read some of those out too.
And while we're waiting on the delay, how do you get a torch? Is it just part of the animation, or?
It's an emote. I don't know if it's something you have to unlock or not. I want to say it's tied to Ryza somehow, but I can't remember now.
I haven't done very much Ryza, so that would make sense.
Jalil's saying that he used to photobomb people a lot too, which is certainly true.
Oh, yeah. He definitely did.
He loved doing that.
I mean, he knew he was the true star of STLV.
Garrick 531 remembered that Aaron asked me to buff up his body in game at some point when I was showing him around. He was like, "Yeah, can I get a little bit more built?" It's kind of funny.
Which, of course, you have total control over.
Grumpy Old Nord says that his first SCLV, Aaron signed a 7th rule card and gave it to him, and that he was a super kind and giving dude. He's going to miss seeing him next year, which I think we all are.
Yeah.
I'm curious.
No
They're going to have to do something next year at the convention. I don't know what, but it'll be interesting to see what that will be like, and specifically that row. With the Ferengis and Chase and Martok and Gowron and all them that are all usually seated together.
Yeah. No, there's definitely going to be a void, like a noticeable void.
there's for those who didn't know, the Seventh Rule is a podcast that Aron was on along with Ryan Husk and Garrett Wong. And they, of course, have done a memorializing episode as well. So if you want to go back through their podcast, you can hear some more of Aron's joke cracking and reminiscing about his career.
Any other memories?
There's a lot of just, interacting with him online, lots of jokes. Darkthorn, AZ said that their first S2E was 2 years ago, and they came over to the booth and watched us play through with Nog with Quark's Lucky 7.
I have already found myself getting caught in thinking of, oh, well, if we did this episode, we could have Nog say, and then, no, can't.
It's actually kind of, it's kind of strange, like playing some of the older stuff, like the tutorial stuff, and seeing him on the Chimera and realizing how, like, we just recently switched it all over to him.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be a really special thing for people who start and make a Federation character, and like there he is.
Yeah, their
welcoming
first
you to the
experience
game.
is getting to meet Captain Nog.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that we were able to have him in and
Yeah.
and all that. Yeah. Sorry, guys. I know it's kind of down and slow. We're all still processing all of this. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not an easy thing for anybody, I think, and especially those of us that have met him or known him.
I mean, his personality and his heart were both, hundreds of times his own size.
Hug your loved ones.
Oh, someone is telling me where the torch comes from.
Anniversary.
Anniversary. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. He'd be laughing at us so hard right now.
It's true. He would also be mugging for the camera.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's the sort of person who wouldn't want to be mourned. He'd want to be celebrated.
Right. And that's definitely worth doing as we're seeing people here coming together to...
I mean, truly no one wants to
share
be
their
mourned
memories.
because you tell them one thing and suddenly the entire galaxy knows.
Talks your ear off for hours.
Yeah.
Um, I think that Al covered it a little bit, but we're going to be adding Nog to Quarks as well.
Yeah.
That's already happened and will be going out tomorrow, I guess.
Yep.
Maybe? Okay. So the bar stool nearest the dartboard is getting removed, and Nog will be standing there. So you can go say hey. I know people have suggested online adding a statue or creating some Nog memorial someplace, but we all felt it was pretty important that Nog stay alive in game. Even if Aron's gone, Nog will live on.
Right.
So I don't think that's not the direction we want to go with
Yeah,
that.
it's a great way of showing that your contributions will outlast you.
Mm-hmm.
And what we all got from Aron being part of our extended family is something that will live on.
Yeah.
100%. But I assume Mike has suggested if you want to take pictures of yourselves with Captain Nog and send them in, we as a team would probably appreciate seeing them.
Yeah, I'd love to. Any photos that you guys got of our panels, or Aaron at the booth or wherever.
But also even in the game, like
yeah, sure.
Whatever you got, share those memories.
yeah,
share those good times. With everyone else.
Celebrate them. Ooh.
Just go around the corner and wave.
Let there
All
be
these
light.
little things that Mike never tells you about running a stream.
Well, I mean, it's because the green screen is blocking the motion detector.
Sorry. Mr. Dave is asking for a special emote that we could add to use at memorials. The torch is nice, but having something more appropriate would be interesting. We talked a little bit about that. The environment pod, at least Scott and David and I were talking about, trying to make a memorial somehow that you could like add something to. You take off your comm badge and leave it there or something, but then we're not quite sure how that would really work in terms of, okay, you take yours off and now there's a comm badge there, but then that means that I can't interact with it, or maybe we make it where it just turns into a pile, but then that seems weird. So we probably won't do the adding things, but I think that we're already on the page of trying to come up with some kind of emote or animation that you can do to feel like you're actually paying respects and not just standing nearby.
Just pour a little blood wine.
So I see some people in the game are doing the Ferengi dance, which is an unlockable emote from Time in a Bottle. And that one has an Aron story associated with it too. You probably know the story as well, Nick.
About the dance?
About the dance, yeah.
In game or
the dance in general?
Yeah, it was spur of the moment. He was told
he invented it.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Nope, by all means.
Well, I don't know anything else about it. I mean, he invented it. He was told that he needed to dance, and he just started doing this thing and wiggling his butt and jumping and going, and I don't remember anything else. That's what I'm saying. Like, if you remember more, go for it.
Well, it's just another quintessential Aron, because you can't help but laugh the first time that you see this. You're like, what is even going on? And he's going, oh, well, the Ferengi are, they're cowardly and they're greedy and whatnot. And so, of course, they do this dance that's supposed to look threatening, but it just winds up looking goofy. He even told us specifically, you didn't quite get the butt wiggle right.
No, he definitely felt like he wanted to add more butt wiggle.
Yeah, we got to get some more butt wiggle in there.
Yeah. Ferengi dance is nothing short of epic. I agree. I think that's something that definitely has to happen at STLV next year. So we'll have to have a
flash mob Ferengi
dance, or at Klingon karaoke or something. There'll have to be a big Ferengi dance happen.
Okay, the dude in the onesie doing the Ferengi dance is actually kind of hilarious. I feel like there's someone behind me just like looking at me.
Oops, who was that? Meme Ranglot is asking if we had. Oh, I'm sorry. That was a question to Julia. Never mind.
Julia's comment about Aron hated walking on snow. I remember seeing a photo of him looking very distressed while he's out in the snow, and it had a comment on it about Aron really just hating that sort of crunching texture underneath his shoes, that it was one of those things that just got on the edge of his teeth.
Where was he from?
Aron? I honestly don't know. I'm sure Jaleel can fill us in.
Like I wonder if he was from like a warm climate and just wasn't used to snow.
Jaleel, you're doing great. Thank you for participating. This has been fun.
Yeah.
Somebody says Aaron was from Hollywood. I don't know if that's... I don't know. Born in Hollywood. Okay.
Yeah, so he would not have been used to snow.
Yeah, certainly not.
Thanks for that.
Yeah. No, I as someone who's from the Northeast, I was pretty happy to get away from snow. But that was more just due to having to like deal with either shoveling it or driving in it or whatnot. But I could understand how it would be off-putting to someone who had not grown up with it.
Yeah.
Travis Register on Facebook says Latinum strips. I'm assuming that's in reference to things we could leave on the
probably, yeah,
the memorial. Although it's not going to be a Nog specific memorial, but that's a cute idea.
Finally, have something useful to do with Latinum.
People certainly have a lot of Latinum saved up, so I actually just took one away from you.
Yeah.
Put one down.
Just one.
That'd be fun. Yeah, just minus one.
Well, I was telling Jesse this after we were talking about things we could do to honor Aron, and I was like, well, if we were doing it to Nog and not to Aron,
right?
The appropriate thing would be to auction off like digital body parts, because that was what the Ferengi do.
Uh-huh.
But it's like but Nog is not the one who's dead, and there's just that would obviously be not right to do about Aron.
Yeah, we're not actually Ferengi, so
yeah.
We'll leave that in the
Yeah.
show. For those who didn't know, Aron was very vocal and passionate about kidney disorder issues, as he was a sufferer of such disorders himself and a recipient of transplants. And so he was a huge advocate for medical research into ways to improve kidney dialysis technology and improve transplant procedures and things of that nature. And it's interesting too that, like, for some people, especially if you're an actor and you're looking at sort of making a name for yourself in your career, some actors try to keep those sorts of things very private because they're worried about that hurting their image of being a perfect on-camera person. But Aron was very vocal about these sorts of issues, and he really, I think, took the attitude of, like, yeah, this affects me, but it affects other people too, and it affects you, and it affects people you love, and it affects people you don't even know, and everyone should know about these issues and talk about these issues, and he brought his openness and his enthusiasm to that as well.
Is there a particular charity that he interacted with or whatnot?
I don't know one off the top of my head. I remember that he has mentioned organizations and various research groups before, but I would have to go digging to find one of those.
Right.
But certainly it's a worthwhile cause, and he didn't shy from raising that visibility the way that a few actors will do when they say, hey, everyone should know I have to deal with this in my life, and this is worth talking about and worth finding ways to
Jaleel mentions the
improve
National
people's
Kidney
quality of life.
Foundation.
Okay.
National Kidney Foundation. There you go. So
Thank you.
Thank you.
if you want to do something to memorialize a cause that Aron was passionate about, it's a place that you can look up.
Yeah.
Gameversman says, what if you guys made a small nods to Aron through the game, such as a reference to Aron's dislike of snow on Andoria or in Q's Winter Wonderland? I think that'd be great if we could get him to voice it, but
that is the problem.
But that time has come and
I
gone.
don't know that we can, having somebody else make a reference to disliking the sound of snow. I mean, maybe if it was somebody that's close to him, if we got Chirac, I'm spitballing it. If we got Chirac someday, and he was on Andoria, he might be able to mention that Nog hated it or something. But
or if we had Max or Chase or something.
Yeah, but I understand the impulse to want to just tie things in everywhere, but there's just so much we can do without having his voice available. You know, we might have some little snippets here and there, but I'm sure we don't have anything about crunching snow, in the archives. So,
I mean, at the end of the day, like anything we would want to put into the game has to be respectful of him.
Yeah.
And trying to shoehorn something in, or having someone do like trying to come up with a sound alike or something like that is just, that's not respectful of him.
Mm. Nick's following up on the stream.
Sorry, I'm just reading comments. He was a big advocate for organ donation as well, as Joe Bender mentions, or Jade Bender. I certainly remember him talking about that a couple times. I always felt it's not the same at all, but some similarities or shared experience with Aron, because I went through a bunch of medical things when I was a kid as well. I had a brain tumor, for those that don't know. That's where the tumor boy comes from, for Tumor Boy. And so there's a certain type of person that kind of comes out of that childhood medical trauma, and so I feel like we always kind of got along in that way. I'm sure there are others that have experienced that as well. Deanna Schultz mentions that if you are going to be, or if you would like to donate your organs, if something were to happen to you, make sure that you talk to your friends and family about it, so that it isn't
a surprise.
Overruled.
Yeah. Just tell them, well, I'm not using them anymore.
Sorry for the silence, guys. There's only so many things you can say or say over and over again.
Ming Ranglet, the ESD plaque has been updated, and the Kronos and the New Romulus plaque have both been updated. The DS9 plaque is something brand new that we've only added 2 days ago, and it will be going out tomorrow. So that's not there yet, but it will be there very soon.
Yeah, because the plaques were only at faction hubs, and until recently, DS9 wasn't a faction hub.
And it also just felt appropriate for Aron.
Right.
We're gonna, that's where he should be. So there is one on New Romulus. It's in New Romulus Command. I think if you go through the rotunda, it's like right overlooking the ocean. Maybe is it on the balcony, or it's just inside there?
Yeah,
it's
just in
I think it's just
rotunda
inside.
Yeah.
For those who are curious about Aron's thoughts on working on DS9, he did an extended interview for the recent DS9 documentary, What We Left Behind, and that's been making the rounds on the internet. And of course, you can look up the documentary for yourself and see what he has to say about looking back on all of those experiences.
Let's see, who is this? Grendel the Wise is asking if there's a better place to put it on ESD, put the memorial. I'm open to suggestions. That was the place that seemed the most appropriate. I don't want to, we've talked about this a couple times, we don't want to make it in your face where, you cannot get away from a memorial. We're not trying to make a game that is all about reminding you of these people who have passed. So I don't want it to be hidden, but I do want it to be kind of
off
something
the beaten path.
off the beaten path, someplace that you need to kind of go out of your way to get to. And that's not to try and, like I said, not trying to hide it, just trying to make sure that isn't casting a pall over the whole game, right? So I'm open to suggestions. If you have another location on ESD that you think would be appropriate, like maybe we could put it in with the shops, but that seems kind of crass in its own way. And there isn't a whole lot of other areas that aren't, main travel places. So,
You could put in the club.
put it on the club, right in the middle of the dance floor.
Yeah.
Aaron would love it.
True.
But I mean, the thing is also, especially at moments like these, so many people go to the memorial that, like, if you're trying to just play the game, because everyone mourns in their own way, it can get, like, I mean, look at how many people are standing here on DS9. Like, you wouldn't want to have to kind of go through this crowd in order to take care of whatever you're trying to do.
But certainly the possibility of
A better place.
finding a spot that we can build out is always there, time permitting.
I mean, of all the changes that we make to the game, I think moving the memorial is probably one of the easier to find a minute to do.
Just get in the door.
Stupid work interrupting us and our talking to people on the internet.
Yeah, seriously.
Talking at people on the
Our
internet.
hour of somberness.
We're talking with.
There's an hour of somber
they're typing
reflection.
back at us.
Grendel the Wise suggests designating a planet for the memorial, like Memory Alpha, except just a giant memorial planet, which is kind of appropriate.
Wow.
Memorial Alpha?
Yeah.
We have the Wolf 359 memorial and the New Romulus memorial in space. We could make something larger for people, I guess.
That's true.
But, that's kind of funny.
But then what quadrant would it go in?
Yeah. That'd be its own problem.
Yeah.
This is the thing. There's no easy answers for a lot of these questions, right? We're trying to be, appropriate and make sure that things feel, don't feel wrong. But, the game was not designed with this in mind, because when we were making the game initially, nobody thought about that kind of stuff.
Right.
So, like I said, the plaque itself, I think, only came into existence when Leonard died. And certainly there had been past actors before that, but that was a big enough hit that it was like, oh, we really need to handle that.
He was like the first voice in our game, right?
Yeah, he was.
He and Zachary Quinto.
He and Zachary Quinto were early on. And yeah, I'm glad that we still have him doing the congratulations captain stuff, and when you level up and that kind of thing. But
what if we created a memorial Dyson sphere, and then that way we have practically infinite space to write names on?
It's just you ever watch Invader Zim? Like
just a few episodes.
Like there's just infinite planets that all have very specific uses. So there's like fried food planet, and there's so in Invader Zim, I'm sure there's a memorial planet someplace.
Yeah.
Seems right.
I mean, as long as there's an Iconian gateway, you can get there from lots of different places.
The real Brian Wav says that we have to get the Disco Spock in order to complete the trifecta, because we've got the other Spocks so far. Peck, right? Ethan Peck. Yeah.
As opposed to Walter Peck.
Or Gregory.
Right.
We could make an Eisenberg class ship. That's true. That was a suggestion of Nano Ninja.
It's not a bad idea. Could be a Ferengi ship.
Could be a like modified Chimera. I know he was really into the Chimera that we gave him.
True.
We gave Captain Nog. There's something kind of weird and creepy thinking about Nog captaining an Eisenberg class ship, though. That seems strange somehow.
Well, he doesn't have to captain it.
I know, but that's where my mind went. It doesn't mean that
a vessel, but yeah.
Well,
I can only imagine what the Planitia, was it
Utopia Planitia
guys would be saying about the design for the ship. Why is the warp core so large?
John Cowlin suggests putting a memorial on Ferenginar. There's already one there.
I see
Which
what
is
you
a
did there.
joke because we don't actually have Ferenginar in game. So,
Right.
If we do, it's already there.
It's actually made of latinum, but not gold press, so it just keeps on like
oozes,
Just melty.
in the rain. Yeah, good.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, getting an engineering class ship would be appropriate.
Mhm.
Engineering or Eisenberg class with 10 slots in each field.
Eisenberg's class with a Dabo table and a lounge bar.
That's the Ferengi ships already have the
Right.
Latinum exchange in them, right? So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Not too far off. Oh, goodness.
the Dabo table's right on the bridge. Actually, no. Instead of Dabo, they should have the what was that other game? The game they're playing in Cortland 7. That card.
Oh,
I forget what it's called.
oh
already.
man, my brain.
Yeah.
Acquisition?
No.
No. No,
Like
there's a couple. Of
yeah,
games
I remember
around
looking
it.
up its
It's
name.
not
but
Domjot. It's
not Domjot.
It's,
No.
Tongo.
Tongo, yes.
Thank you, everyone. No, I mean, I came up with that all by myself, is what I meant by that. Certainly didn't get any help from these people over here.
Yeah, there'll be a Tongo table right on the
All
bridge.
right.
It's just the ready room. It's the conference room. The conference table is just a Tongo table.
Well, no, there's a Tongo table, and then around it are the consoles. So all the bridge crew are sitting around the Tongo table, both doing their jobs and playing Tongo.
Retreat.
The Vampire Knight, I agree. They probably wouldn't name their ships after a Human. But it's funny thinking about.
Yep. Actually, it'd be really funny. It's like, so, it's like retreat. It's like, what? From what? Is there something out there?
Gameverse Man says that he hopes that they hope that the ship would mirror Aron's personality somehow. So I'm picturing like a rising cruiser with, checkerboard patterns and I don't know.
Well, no, the console would be called Larger Than Life, and it just makes the ship grow.
Makes it buff.
They asked me to be a cruiser after or something. Tongo confirmed for the T6 non-gold Negus. Not actually confirmed. That's what somebody says over the yonder.
Yeah.
Actually, no, the Eisenberg class ship has a special property that when you do a print, like a screenshot, it mugs for the camera.
Oh, no.
Chimera could occasionally warp in to help with patrols. That's a good idea. Yamak sauce for everybody. Yamak sauce disruptor cannons. Yeah. And that's a reminder that self-sealing stem bolts comes directly from Nog.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Yamak sauce too. Of course,
Yamak sauce, I think, is probably one of my that episode is I think
That is a
one of
great
my
episode.
one of my most memorable DS9 episodes.
all the wheeling and dealing,
yeah.
getting rid of Cisco's desk.
Well, it's just like it's like here are
That
these
was great.
here
That
are
was
these
so
two
good.
who are these two kids who are like trying to prove
Yeah.
themselves, and it's
Yeah.
just the most ridiculous fetch quest ever.
Yeah. Can we turn this paperclip
Cool.
into a Star Cruiser?
Sir Boulevard suggests a Yamuk hot tub in the Eisenberg Bridge.
But then you'd just be cooking yourself.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Sorry, Facebook. I didn't mean to be ignoring you.
The Eisenberg class ship replicator only makes Yamuk sauce.
Jake Myers, I don't know if he had a player character himself. We certainly talked to him about Stowe. I know that I think did we give him an Xbox, or we did something to help him.
I feel like we made an account for him, that had Nog as the captain.
I think we've done that for a couple people now, given them their own characters to play.
Yeah.
But whether he actually played it
Whether
or
he
not,
actually played
we
it or
don't
not,
know.
I believe we did give him a console.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that. Yeah, Frankenarmap has been brought up a number of times over the years. I would still love to do it. It's just a matter of having a story that takes us there.
Right.
Sorry, I keep getting off screen.
Well, fortunately, thanks to Quark's Lucky 7, we
Right.
may have to one day protect it from
have
a
an
really angry Iconian.
Mm-hmm.
And we have an in now with the Negus,
Mhm.
so that's good too.
Mm-hmm.
There's something really hypnotic about the way the banner is flying back and forth, like amongst all the people.
Thank you all for showing up.
Yeah.
I know this was kind of an offbeat live stream and all that, but I'm glad you guys are all here to help, celebrate and honor Aron.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely.
One of the game's best friends, I would say.
Yeah.
I definitely looked forward to seeing him at STLV every year, and I knew that's someone that I can count on seeing and talking to and having a good time with.
Yeah. He's guaranteed to stop by the booth at least once
A day.
per day.
Yes, right.
He little things too, like just Donnie and I were stopped in the main hallway at STLV, and we were talking or whatever, and he is running by with Melissa, clearly going to his table or whatever, and he just yells out, "Hey Nick, hey Donnie," and Donnie was like so taken back that he actually knew his name, even, and it just not everybody does that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, shall we wrap it up then? I think
so.
we're pretty much there. You guys will have to put up with us as we try to figure out how to shut this down properly without just yanking the cord out of the wall. But
I have notes.
We have instructions.
I think you click up there.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming.
Thank you, folks.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
Hashtag play a Ferengi. Look forward to Nog at Quarks. Look forward to the new memorial on the upper promenade of DS9 under the windows overlooking the wormhole near Nog
and
spot.
send us your Nog related
tell
screenshots
us,
and stuff.
send us your screenshots and things. We'd love to see them, and any memories you have of him in game or out of game would be great. So,
Yeah.
love you guys. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
What are we doing?
And by bye, I mean bye when we get around to it. Yeah, so click on that and then hit all the two top ones.
Okay, bye.